Hello and welcome to another Project Life Process video. Today I'm going to be scrapping the very last page in my Project Life album, which is not the last page of the album, it's just the last page that I'm doing. So it's this page here that is empty. I went ahead and did scrapbook the Canada Day half page layout, which is in a separate video if you'd like to see that. And now what I did was I skipped over week 26 because week 26 wasn't quite finished, but I had already planned for week 25 to be on the left hand side, which is in a separate video, and for week 26 to be on the right hand side of the same spread, and then flip the page, and that will be Canada Day, and that will be the end of the album for volume 1. So I do have these photos that I printed up, and I was just storing my stuff in a half of a Becky Higgins Design A page protector, but this page is going to be in a full page protector. It's going to be the back side of this with those empty cards. So that's what I'm going to be documenting today. I'm also going to be finishing off this cover page and putting that extra stuff in an insert as well. And you'll see the process for all of that stuff as I just finish off this album. And then I'll do another video that is basically a flip through. So I do have a bit of a head start with this page because I did already scrap the title card, which says week 26, and then it shows the days. So it basically spans from June 27th to July 3rd. And as you can see, I'm just spreading out the photos that I have to work with for this week. I also have a gas station receipt and a few other things. And then I have an empty space here for either a filler card or some journaling or something like that. I don't actually have a whole lot to say about this page. It's basically just the week before it was fairly busy, and then we had Canada Day, and these are just kind of like leftover photos that didn't get captured during that week. So I am pulling out my supplies, which I keep in that little washi tape container from Michael's, and what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the 6x4-inch cards because I need one there for the gas station receipt, and I'm also going to have a look at what other supplies I might have. I love these tags, and I'm just thinking that the gas station receipt is going to need a little something else to go with it. So first I'm going to make it a little bit less wieldy by shortening it. It has a whole bunch of stuff printed at the bottom that doesn't really matter. So I just tore that part off so that I can show the main part, which is the address of the gas station, the date and the time, and the amount and the cost per liter. So the supplies that I have on hand here are June kits from Paper Person, Stories by the Month, Ellie's Studio, and Studio Calico. So I've got a total of 4 kits here, so that is a whole lot of cards. And I even also still have some of my leftovers from the May kits. So obviously I have a lot of supplies here. Now, I thought I would start with this photo because the gas station card was giving me a little bit too much grief. So I thought I'd just percolate on some ideas about the receipt and move on to talk about this, to scrapbook this photo. Now for this photo, it's basically, again, I don't really have all that much to say, but I do really love these foodie stamps that I have. Some of them are from Studio Calico and some of them are from Kelly Perky. And this Yum one is probably my very favorite foodie stamp. I use it so much. So what I thought I would do is, a la Kelly Perky, do some journaling around the edge of my plate. She used to do this a lot. I don't know if she still does, but yeah. So the journaling there says, homemade tomato soup and matzo panini. And so I'm just going to place the Yum right on the bowl, which is sort of the center of the photo. It might not be exactly the center of the photo, but I just really like how it looks there on the bowl because the bowl is white. It's like a stone color, I guess, a gray. Grayish, we'll call it. So I am using my Misty tool so that I can stamp multiple times and make sure I get a really good, dark, crisp image. And that really, that Misty tool really helps with that. And then I'm using my Stampin Up stamp chamois to clean off my stamp afterwards. I love that stamp chamois. When you store it in the CD case, it stays wet for weeks and it doesn't get moldy. So that's good. Just wanted to show you where I keep my stamps. They're right on my right hand side, literally, as I scrap. Now, This is the book that I'm reading, that I was reading that week. And I printed the photo at 2x3, but once I trimmed it down, once I trimmed it with the border on the outside edge, it was a little bit too wide to fit on a 3x4 inch card. So I just trimmed it down on both sides. And now, because I would really like it to have the white border all the way around it, I'm just using corrector tape to create a faux white border. Well, it's not faux, it is. It's a white border. It's just not what you think it is. It's not, it wasn't printed that way. So that has been my little hack that I've been using for the past several weeks, and I really love how it works. So I always have correction tape on hand because I like to use it for journaling lines, but this is a new way that I'm using it these days. So then I have one of my daughter's report cards, just like not her formal report card, but just her printout from Power School, which is the app that we use around here. I just glued it onto a 3x4 inch card and outlined it, and that was that. Then I decided to put these two photos of me just trying on two different dresses at Scott's aunt's house. And I really love Fee's sewing room. It's so bright and colorful, and the dresses that she was giving me are bright and colorful too. So I thought I would just kind of accentuate those by using some really bright and colorful labels. These are all labels from the Ellie Studio kit from June. And then I grabbed this stamp set, which is from the Kelly Perky shop from 2018. It's called What I Wore, and I really like that one. And I'm picking this stamp that says keep because I think it's for people who order clothes boxes where you get clothes and then you decide what you keep and then you can send some back. But I don't get that service. I just really like this stamp set because of all the clothes on it. So, but I am putting the keep because I was trying on a whole bunch of dresses, and those were two that I decided to keep. There's a cute little dress stamp in that same stamp set, so I decided to put that on one of the labels. And so it says keep, and then I have the dress, and then I'm just going to put a little phrase there. I'm going to layer all these together so that they, oops, I put a little bit too much glue there, but I'm just going to layer them all so that they fit properly. And I wanted to just add a little bit of color here. So I just took one of my Stampin' Up markers and just colored it in a blue that I thought would look okay. It's not an exact match to the other blues, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to outline around the outside edges of this one label just to make it stand out a little bit from the others. I'm also going to outline this one too, apparently. This one says, look at this. And I'm going to do my journaling right beside the dress here. It's going to say, Fee's Beautiful Dresses. She makes her own dresses. And the ones that I was trying on were a combination of her homemade dresses and some that she had bought from stores, but just was ready to part with. So I'm just going to outline this with a white gel pen, and to be honest, it didn't really do that much for this card. Like it's fine. It didn't ruin it. It looks okay. But this is a step that you really don't have to do. I don't think it added much. If I knew what it would look like, I don't think I would have done it, but it's fine. You never know, right? So you just got to play around and see what you like. And this is how you learn what your style is, by trying different things and realizing, oh, I really like that, or oops, no, I don't like that so much. Wouldn't do that again. Now, what I decided to do with this card, just to kind of increase the detail of it, is to add some of these puffy stars and hearts these are from the Paper Person kit from June. And I'm just trying to coordinate them so that the stickers are on the same part of the card where the words are the same color, if that makes any sense. But that color of yellow that was in that set of stickers was the wrong color of yellow. It was like this orange, it was like this greeny yellow, and I wanted a more pure yellow. So I went into my own stash. I keep what I call iconic sticker shapes all together. So I have a folder of stars, I have a folder of hearts, and I have a folder of arrows, and they're all kind of just full sheets of stickers that are those shapes, just because lots of manufacturers make those kinds of sticker sheets, and I tend to reach for them looking for a star or a heart or an arrow. So it makes sense to keep them together. Now I'm still struggling with how on earth I'm going to document this receipt. And I don't like how that looks, but I don't know. I'm just going to keep on playing around with putting different things down and seeing what works and what I like. Oh, that's pretty nice. I don't mind that. And I just felt like it needed a little something else, like another layer. So yeah, that doesn't look too bad. That's not what I'm going to end up doing. I love this pattern, and I'm really just looking for a reason to put that pattern on this page, but it's not going to make it. I don't like the pattern with the red and the pink tag, and at this point, I'm convinced I want to use those. And then I found this card. It's from Ellie's Studio, and I thought that that might make better sense to use with that patterned card, like the floral and leaf pattern. So yeah, that looks okay too. And yeah, I'm not sure why I'm struggling so much with this one card, but I just decide to glue the receipt just right down to the 4x6 card. I'll do some journaling up here. It says it used to cost $20 to fill my tank, and now it's over $65. Yikes to inflation. I'm going to underline that so it feels anchored on the page, especially where it really felt quite floaty the way that the receipt is glued on there. And then I am going to look for some thickers that I can use to spell out gas or gas prices or something. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to spell here, but I'm just looking for some really bold letter stickers. And I pulled out, as you can see, I pulled out a couple of different options, but as soon as I saw these ones, I knew I wanted to use them. These are an older, thicker set. They're called Sketchbook, and I liked how chunky they would look. So I thought that they might add something to this page where there's really not a whole lot going on. There's the green card, like it's a green and white card, and then just the receipt. So I felt like it needed something bold to kind of give it some presence on the page. So I decided that gas was too small of a word, so I decided to spell out gas prices. And that looks pretty good. And I don't have to reglue those. I kind of burnished them down. And then I decided to go into my arrow little box. So the same way that I keep flat stickers in a folder, I also keep boxes of the same iconic shapes for dimensional, like basically just chipboard pieces. And so this is my little box of arrow shapes. And I'm just looking for arrows to point up because gas prices at that point were going up. They've gone down since then, but I'm glad I kept the receipt when I did, because that maybe is as high as they're going to go. Let's hope. Let's hope. So this is about as much as I'm going to do with this page. I didn't feel the need to write a whole lot and do a lot of journaling on this one, just because it's all kind of self-explanatory. I don't need to say I was reading this book this week. It's clear I was reading the book. The name of the sticker challenge is written right on the sheet of the sticker page that there's a photo of over there on the far right. And yeah, I just, I like photos to kind of stand on their own and tell their own story. And I really only add captioning and journaling and stuff as needed. So there we go. This one is done, except we do have to put these two awards in, and the date on the awards was February, so I just chose a random week in February to put those, and I want them to face the same way. I like people to have to turn their heads only one way to read sideways stuff in my album, so I try to make everything go in that direction. So the last thing I have to do before this book is ready for my shelf, and I'll probably let it hang out in my living room for a little while before it goes on the shelf, but the last thing I have to do is this title page. I'm not a fan of title pages, and so they are usually an afterthought like this one is. And so I have all of these 2022 things that I've been collecting, and just as I come across something, I'll slip it into the front pocket to remind me to use it for my title page. And so I have all of those things. And then I also pulled out my own little section in my Project Life storage where I keep monthly things. And I thought that there might be some stuff in there from January that I might be able to use. So I grabbed a Ali Edwards quote card there. I liked that quote. It says, "Dear world, I'm excited to be alive in you and I'm thankful for another year." So I thought that was reasonable for the new year. And then you just saw me going into my stash there. There is a stories kit from Ali Edwards that's called Begin. And I thought there might be some stuff in there for me to put for a new year title page. And this one that says Ready to Begin, that card, I thought that was kind of appropriate. But really the color scheme for that kit was just not something that was going to work with the cards that I already had pulled out. I'm just going to take a quick look through the supplies. I like that I can, but I'm not going to use it. So most of those things are just going to go back in the kit that they came from and go back into my little Razcog that you saw me take them out of, but I am going to use that Ready to Begin. So then the next thing that I'm going to look through here are my Ali Edwards chipboard pieces. These are mostly Ali Edwards. There might be a little bit of Studio Calico in here too. And I've been liking putting circular chipboard over the tops of some of the circles on these month cards. And this isn't a special New Year month card, it's just the January month card. I never did use it in my pocket pages, so I thought it would be good to use here on the title. These are really cool fabric patches, but they're sticky. They're actually really sticky. And so I wanted to put this kind of centered in the bottom of this card and then trim it off. So it's like a semicircle. I like how that looks. So this page is pretty much 100% decorative. Like there's really not much, well, not, I wouldn't say 100%. I'll do a little bit of journaling on one of those cards there. But most of this is just cards that I like that I wanted to get used, especially cards that were specific to 2022 and chipboard and pieces that, you know, if I don't use it in this project, I'm probably never going to need to write the year 2022. So we'll get as much of this into this book as possible. Of course, I do have a volume 2 that will span from July to December, so there will be more opportunities to use the year 2022. But so here I'm just looking to make sure that I'm not missing anything that's specific to 2022 or specific to the new year, but there wasn't anything in that little stack of cards. And then these are my more recent cards. These are the ones that are in what I consider my current Project Life supplies. I don't have to go through them all to know that there's nothing in there that's specific to 2022 or the new year that I absolutely have to use. I'm going to use my hot off the press journaling template here. This is an older scrapbooking product, but I really love having it on hand to keep my journaling lines straight and keep them from getting crowded and whatnot. I'm journaling here. I'm saying coming out of 2020 to 2021, we are ready for 2022 to bring almost anything else. We are ready for 2022 to be in any tiny way easier than the last 2 years. So I wanted this journaling to have a sense of almost like desperate hope, because that's kind of how I remember feeling in January. Kind of hopeful, kind of feeling like, well, it can't be worse than what we've already been going through, which is a different vibe than, like, I think when we went into 2021, I think that there was a lot of hope, a lot of kind of like, okay, good, 2020 is behind us, let's move on. And then of course, 2021 was not that much different or better. And so I think that by the time this new year rolled around, I think we had all kind of were a little bit hesitant to be uncontrollably hopeful. Or at least I was trying to hedge my bets so I didn't feel too disappointed. But it's turning out to be a pretty okay year. Yes, obviously lots of bad things still happening, but it feels like it's a better year this year. So that's good so far. So now I'm just kind of flipping through. I like to do this. I want to just kind of remember all of these fun times. I'm going to do a proper flip through that's just like a separate video where I'll chat. It's quite chatty. I've already filmed it. It's quite long. So if you like that kind of video, check out my channel because that one will be coming up soon. So before I go, just a quick shout out to my Patreon supporters. These folks help make this channel happen. So a great big thanks to all of them. And thanks to you for watching this video. Even watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of those things really do help me and help my channel and helps me keep on doing what I love to do, which is making process videos for you guys to watch. So take care and have a really great scrappy week.